Before you step into this day, pause for a moment. Take a breath, quiet your mind, and remind yourself of one simple truth. You do not have to walk into today alone. There is a God who sees what you cannot see. He knows what is waiting around the corner. He knows the conversations you will have, the decisions you will face, the opportunities you have not yet recognized, and even the battles you do not know are coming. And when you place your day into His hands, you are not giving up control because you are weak. You are surrendering control because you trust someone greater than yourself. Trusting God to go before you means choosing faith over fear, even when you cannot see what is ahead. Every morning gives you another opportunity to place your plans, concerns, expectations, and uncertainties into the hands of God. You may wake up with questions about your future, your responsibilities, your relationships, your finances, or the decisions you need to make. You may not know how everything will work out, but you can know the one who already sees the entire path. God is not surprised by what is coming. Nothing that happens today will catch Him unprepared. He is already present in the places you have not reached, already aware of the situations you have not encountered, and already capable of giving you the wisdom and strength you will need. When you trust Him to go before you, you are choosing to walk forward without demanding that you understand every detail. Many people spend their days trying to control everything because uncertainty makes them uncomfortable. They want to know exactly what will happen before they take the next step. They want every answer before they begin. They want guarantees that nothing will go wrong. Yet life does not offer that kind of certainty. There will always be things outside your control. There will always be circumstances you cannot predict and situations you cannot immediately understand. This is where faith becomes powerful. Faith does not require you to know everything. Faith allows you to move forward because you trust the one who does know everything. You can release the pressure of figuring out the entire journey and focus on faithfully taking the next step God places before you. When you ask God to go before you, you are inviting Him into every part of your day. You are saying, Lord, prepare the way before me. Give me wisdom before I speak. Give me discernment before I decide. Give me patience before I react. Give me courage before I face what scares me. Help me recognize the doors you want me to enter and give me peace when you close the doors that are not meant for me. This kind of prayer changes the way you approach life. Instead of constantly asking how you can make everything happen, you begin asking where God is leading you. Instead of forcing opportunities, you learn to recognize divine direction. Instead of panicking when plans change, you begin to believe that God can redirect you without abandoning you. Sometimes you may wonder why a door closed when you prayed for it to open. You may feel disappointed because something you wanted did not happen according to your timing. But trusting God means believing that His wisdom is greater than your perspective. What looks like a setback may be protection. What feels like a delay may be preparation. What appears to be a lost opportunity may be making room for something better aligned with His purpose. You do not have to understand every closed door immediately. You can trust that God sees what you cannot see. He knows the consequences of every choice, the intentions of every person, and the details surrounding every situation. Your vision is limited, but His is not. Trusting God to go before you also means refusing to allow fear to become your leader. Fear will tell you to retreat before you even begin. Fear will remind you of every mistake you have ever made and convince you that the future will repeat the past. Fear will magnify obstacles and minimize your ability to overcome them. But when God goes before you, you do not have to measure your future by your past. Your previous failures do not have authority over what God can do next. Your disappointments do not determine your destiny. You can learn from yesterday without living inside yesterday. You can acknowledge what happened without allowing it to dictate where you are going. There will be moments when you must walk into unfamiliar territory. You may begin a new season, make a difficult decision, enter a new environment, or face a challenge you never expected. In those moments, remind yourself that unfamiliar to you does not mean unfamiliar to God. The path may be new to you, but God already knows every step. You may not know what is around the corner, but He does. That knowledge can give you peace. You do not need perfect confidence in yourself to move forward. You need confidence in God's ability to guide you. When you trust God to go before you, you also become more willing to wait. Waiting can be difficult because we often mistake silence for absence. When an answer does not come quickly, we may assume that nothing is happening. But God can be working in ways you cannot observe. Preparation often happens quietly. Character is developed quietly, doors can be arranged quietly, hearts can be changed quietly, circumstances can shift before you ever see the evidence. Do not allow impatience to make you abandon a direction simply because the results are not immediate. Today, walk with a surrendered heart. Give God your schedule, your decisions, your conversations, your responsibilities, and your expectations. Ask Him to go before you in every place you enter. When you face uncertainty, choose trust. When you face difficulty, choose faith. When you face delay, choose patience. When you face an unexpected change, choose to believe that God can still guide your steps. You do not have to carry tomorrow while living today. God will provide the wisdom you need for the moment you are in. Take today's step with faith, knowing that the one who goes before you is never limited by what you cannot see. Surrendering your day and following God's lead means releasing your desire to control every outcome and choosing to trust His direction one step at a time. Every morning you are given a choice. You can begin the day carrying yesterday's worries, trying to predict every problem, and depending entirely on your own understanding. Or you can begin by placing the entire day into God's hands. You can say, Lord, this day belongs to you. Lead me in what I say, what I do, where I go, and how I respond. That simple surrender can change the way you experience the hours ahead, because you are no longer trying to carry the entire weight of the day by yourself. There is a difference between surrendering your day and simply asking God to bless the plans you have already made. Surrender means becoming willing to follow His direction even when His direction does not match your expectations. It means saying, God, I have plans, but I want your wisdom more than my own. I have desires, but I trust your timing more than mine. I have ideas about how things should happen, but I am willing to let you lead. This kind of surrender requires humility because it acknowledges that your understanding is limited. You may see one part of the picture while God sees the entire story. Many times, we become frustrated because we are trying to force circumstances into the shape we believe they should have. We want people to respond a certain way. We want opportunities to appear at a particular time. We want answers immediately. We want everything to make sense before we move forward. But following God's lead requires patience. Sometimes He will tell you to move when you are afraid. Sometimes He will tell you to wait when you feel desperate to act. Sometimes He will redirect you when you believe you are already on the perfect path. Trust means remaining willing to listen, even when the answer is not what you expected. When you surrender your day to God, you also surrender your reactions. You cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can ask God to guide your response. Someone may speak to you disrespectfully. A plan may suddenly change. Something you were depending on may not work out. A person may disappoint you. Instead of immediately reacting from anger, fear, or frustration, pause and ask God for wisdom. Let Him guide your words before you speak. Let Him calm your heart before you respond. A moment of surrender can prevent a decision that you would later regret. Following God's lead does not mean that every day will be easy. Faith is not a promise that you will never encounter problems. It is the confidence that you do not have to face those problems without God's presence and guidance. There may be challenges today, but you can meet them differently when you know that you are not walking alone. You can face difficult circumstances without allowing them to destroy your peace. You can encounter uncertainty without assuming that your future is falling apart. You can continue moving forward because your confidence is not based on perfect circumstances. Sometimes God's direction becomes clear only after you take the first step. You may want Him to show you the entire road before you begin, but He may give you only enough understanding for the next step. That is where trust becomes necessary. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You need to believe that God will continue to guide you as you move forward. When you remain faithful with what is in front of you, the next part of the journey can become clearer. Surrender also means giving God your expectations. Expectations can become heavy when we become attached to a particular outcome. You may pray for one specific opportunity, one specific relationship, one specific answer, or one specific timing. But sometimes the thing you are asking for is not what you truly need. God understands your needs at a deeper level than you understand them yourself. When you surrender your expectations, you make room for His wisdom. You can still pray boldly and believe strongly while remaining open to the possibility that God's answer may look different from what you imagine. There is freedom in saying, God, I trust you, even if I do not understand. That statement does not mean you have stopped caring. It means you have stopped allowing uncertainty to control you. You can continue working hard, making wise decisions, and pursuing your responsibilities while leaving the final outcome in God's hands. Faith does not replace action. It gives your action the right foundation. You do your part with excellence, then trust God with what is beyond your control. As you move through today, practice returning your attention to God. When you become overwhelmed, pray. When you become confused, ask for wisdom. When you become impatient, remember His timing. When you become afraid, remember His presence. When you are tempted to force something, pause and ask whether you are following God's direction or simply trying to satisfy your own urgency. These small moments of surrender can transform the entire atmosphere of your day. You may not know what today will bring, but you can decide who will lead you through it. Give God your first thoughts instead of your first worries. Give Him your decisions instead of allowing pressure to make them for you. Give Him your fears instead of carrying them everywhere you go. Give Him your plans while remaining willing to receive His direction. Let your heart become quiet enough to recognize wisdom and humble enough to follow it. Today, surrender the need to control every detail. Release the pressure to have every answer. Stop believing that everything depends entirely on your ability to make the perfect decision. Ask God to lead you and then walk forward with faith. If He says move, move with courage. If He says wait, wait with patience. If He redirects you, follow without bitterness. If a door closes, trust that He can guide you toward another path. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to the step in front of you. God's direction does not require you to understand the entire journey. It requires you to trust Him enough to keep walking when you cannot yet see where the road leads. So walk into this day with your heart surrendered and your spirit expectant. Say, Lord, go before me today. I don't want to run ahead of you. I don't want fear to lead me. I don't want pride to lead me. I don't want pressure to lead me. I want you to lead me. Then trust Him. Trust Him with your plans. Trust Him with your relationships. Trust Him with your work. Trust Him with your future. Trust Him with the things you understand and the things you do not. And when you take your first step today, remember this. You are not walking into an unknown day alone. God is already ahead of you. Let Him lead, let Him guide, let Him protect, let Him strengthen, let Him direct your path. And whatever today brings, face it with faith, because the God who goes before you is greater than anything that can stand before you.